What's up, everybody? What's going on? We are here. It is the John Browner Podcast. I'm populating the show around the internet, so y'all know how this go this time of the show. So come on in. Come on in. Come on in so we can get acclimated. Come on in. We got a lot on the show today. We got a lot on the show today. The chat bots are already in here commenting. Shout out to the chat bots. Let me explain something. So on the show today, let me put this back up to help y'all. So on the show today, I'm going to say something about the Padres I haven't said all year, which is, interesting in itself. I'm going to talk about comedy for a cause today, and this is your crowd. This is your crowd, and it's going to make sense when I talk about it. I'm going to start here. So we got comedy for a cause this Thursday. This Thursday, I am taking part in comedy for a cause. It's stand-up. It's jokes. It's humor. It's fun. And it's all to build homes in Mexico. Okay? It's Thursday at 7 from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's going to be a good time. 4250 Marino Boulevard, Suite E. As the week goes on, I'm going to give you more information on it. I'm going to be throwing the link in the chat. In addition to that, today we're going to have the headliner on this show around 10:30 to talk about the event, how he got involved, how I got involved. So it's going to be a good conversation. We're going to talk about doing something good for people, because y'all know I'm always into helping folks. Also, new Padres ownership press conference at 1 o'clock. Shout out to Tito. Shout out to the Chat Pack checking in early, doing their due diligence, doing their job. As always, the John Browner Podcast is here. Last week on Friday, I made a mistake. I clicked the wrong button. So the show was supposed to be available on YouTube. It did not make it onto YouTube, which was very confusing to people. The show was still on X. The show somehow was still on Facebook. It was on everywhere else except for YouTube. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that works. I just work here. I don't cross the lines on the internet. I don't do none of that. So hopefully y'all was able to see the show. I hope. Let me see. I'm looking for something else before I get started here. As always, like, share, and subscribe to the show, because the show is on its road to 500. The road to 500 is still going. We are getting there. We're at 360 something, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 360 something. But the show's making great progress. The show's finding great reach. It's finding the right people. The audience is finding the right people. I mean, the content of the show is finding the right audience. There you go. So I'm happy with that. Shout out to everybody at the Sporting Tribune. I did my first Rams post game on Saturday after the game was over. So shout out to me. Shout out to the Sporting Tribune. Shout out to Grant Mona. Shout out to Arash Markazi. Just a lot of good people working, man. Got a lot coming to y'all this year. Hopefully y'all are along for the ride like y'all been along for this ride, and good things to come. So shout out to the Sporting Tribune. No, we're gonna say that. That's later. One more thing is later. Shout out to the Chat Pack. Let me give my shout out to the Chat Pack beforehand. Shout out to the Chat Pack. Shout out to Ask Technology. Shout out to the Rigby family all day, every day. Raiders versus everyone. Tito. Shout out to Graham in the building. David P. Like I said last week, my bad, y'all. My bad, brother. Hit the wrong button. Show went live without being live on YouTube, and so here we are. But let me clear something up. Let me start here. Today, the Cleveland Browns selected Deshaun Watson as its starting quarterback. And I know y'all saying, what the hell does that have to do with us? Why the hell are we talking about the Browns quarterback job? Is Jason Lawhead coming on the show? Listen, the reason why we're going to start the show talking about Deshaun Watson, and I had made my mind up about this before he even got the job. I made my mind up about this when Deshaun Watson went up to a press conference and told y'all how he felt about the people of Cleveland in the stands. The people of Cleveland in the stands and the people of Cleveland on the internet. You see, Deshaun Watson's career since he left the Houston Texans has been embarrassing. And not embarrassing on the field, because on the field when he does play, he's not great or he's injured. And so after signing the first fully guaranteed contract in NFL history, thanks to Jimmy Haslam, Browns owner, you now find yourself in a situation where you are 3 or 4 years removed, either you're 4 years removed from that contract. It's about to run out. And Deshaun Watson, who tore his ACL on the field last year, and the crowd cheered because they didn't have to watch him anymore. Okay? Now, follow me. Deshaun Watson then played a terrible preseason game against backups, third stringers, and Vaughn's grocery baggers, insurance salesmen, construction workers, scammers more than likely, the way the NFL goes when guys don't make the league. Okay? Deshaun Watson then went to the podium afterwards. And when asked about why he was booed, what did he think of the booing, he proceeded to tell the audience, I don't want to get the show to get taken down because, again, we're making progress and we're going in a different direction. Deshaun Watson then said, it's not the booing for the effort on the field. You guys know why they're booing. You guys know why they're booing. Shout out to Ava for having us on notifications. Shout out, Ava. So I got to tell y'all, man, this is not complicated. This is very simple. This is very direct, bro. This is very simple. This is very direct. What's happening to Deshaun Watson is a cross-section of when real life meets the athlete's contract. Deshaun Watson, regardless of what he's done previously, Deshaun Watson still won the game, so to speak, right? He's married. He got a $225 million contract, and he's still the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. The fact that he hasn't been productive and he's taken all of Jimmy Haslam's money, somehow the Browns fan base, they hate him. Let me repeat that again. The Browns fan base in the stadium, and it's very important that you know these two parts, in the stadium and on the internet, they hate Deshaun Watson. I say that because in the same press conference, Deshaun Watson said, and I quote, I never see that kind of energy person to person. Let me explain why. The reason why Deshaun Watson will never see that kind of energy person to person, because, buddy, you ain't finna do that to somebody's face. Shout out to JD. Deshaun Watson is still, and I think this is where the intersection met between human and professional athlete with a fat contract. You saw him be human in front of you for 5 minutes. Because I can guarantee you he doesn't like Cleveland and Cleveland don't like him. I don't know if Deshaun Watson can play football anymore. That seems to be irrelevant at this point. The fact that Todd Monken named him the starter today, And the way Todd Monken did it tells you that that's not about me. I didn't make this decision. The person who writes the checks told me that's who's playing. I have to make sure he can get the job done. That's above my pay grade. What you saw from Deshaun Watson in that press conference is a human person who feels betrayed by people who are supposed to cheer for him. And when professional athletes of that caliber, making that much money, with that much expectation on him, when they don't get cheered, buddy, they tell you about how they feel. Because who cares? As I put these diamond earrings on, worth more than someone's house who's on the internet thumbing about me as a tough guy, hoping my family dies. He told y'all, these athletes are still human. Deshaun Watson tore his ACL playing for the Cleveland Browns, and the home crowd cheered. He's still a human. And that happened a while ago. He ain't forgot that. And the Browns fans haven't forgotten how bad he is at quarterback. Not to mention, the Browns have someone else they want to see, the fan base. The Browns fans have someone else they want to see play quarterback, and it's not Deshaun Watson. So when they boo you for throwing an interception, it's the fans trying to tell the owner, trying to tell the general manager, trying to tell the head coach, we don't want this. The paying customer, the Brown fan, doesn't want this. And what do the Browns do? They give you another scoop. Only the Browns can fly in the face of their own fan base. If you're a Cleveland Brown fan, I don't know what you do. If you're a Cleveland Brown fan, you have to understand, if Deshaun Watson is not on your team, there's 120-something odd dead cap number against your organization. That's almost double the dead cap money that was against Russell Wilson. I like Todd Monken. I think Todd Monken speaks very direct in his press conferences. That was the most coach speak about who's the starter I've seen Todd Monken give. Was it the full indication of, hey man, listen, my boss told me I got to do this. Y'all got a boss, I got a boss. Boss say you got to play this man. I'm gonna play the man. So if you're a Cleveland Brown fan and you're mad about this, just know they're not going to cut him. He's worth too much of a penalty cap hit wise. He's going to be on the team. And if he stinks, and I mean stinks, they might not take him out. The only way this gets resolved is if he gets hurt or he quits. And if he quits, he forfeits the money. So that option's out the window. So you're going to have to watch Deshaun Watson play really bad football in hopes that he can be successful. As a Browns fan, you're going to have to root for him whether you want to or not. That's it. As a Browns fan, you're going to have to root for this man whether you want to or not. Deshaun Watson's public display of, I don't know if it's sadness or embarrassment for his play, but his disdain for the people paying customers of the Cleveland Browns was so clear. It was so clear. He don't like them, and they don't like him. But this relationship that each person wants to break up, they can't because they own a house together. This relationship that needs to break up, that we can all see that they're fighting in public. This relationship that needs to discontinue, it won't. They sleep in separate bedrooms in a big house. This relationship ain't ending no time soon. For them to cut Deshaun Watson, we're talking about over $100 million in dead cap money. No team can absorb that. You can't even trade for him because his cap hit is so severe. No organization has that type of money available on hand without trading back the Browns another very large, fully guaranteed contract. And those just don't exist. They're just not out there like that. And you're not trading for Deshaun Watson because he hasn't been productive enough at the quarterback position for you to honestly look at that and say, well, you know what? That's worth the gamble. Because it's not. And it hasn't been. It hasn't been for them. It won't be for anybody whoever trades for him, you're fired. So the frustration and the public lashing that he gave the Browns fan base yesterday, I agree with him. It wasn't about football. The people of Cleveland hate Deshaun Watson. The football fans hate Deshaun Watson in a way that few people ever truly get to experience. He never wanted to play for Cleveland. He made that very clear. And then the owner, the Browns owner, said, here's the most money anyone's ever been given, guaranteed to play football in a uniform of any kind. You cannot say no to this money. And it's been a disaster ever since. Whether it be the 14-game suspension for something he was never found guilty of, because I told y'all about this way back in the day. What happened to Deshaun Watson is simply a matter of he was shopping on Instagram DMs for massage, quote unquote, massage therapy. That ain't what he was buying, and that ain't what these women were selling. These women were selling what Jed York was buying in Palestine. Jed York, I thought we was trying to free Palestine, Jed York. I thought somebody tell Jed York we supposed to be trying to free Palestine. Jed York in East Palestine buying pussy. Not allegedly either. If you're the owner of the 49ers, if you're the owner of the 49ers, buddy, East Palestine? Ohio? I get it. You from Youngstown. And to go from Youngstown to being the majority owner of the San Francisco 49ers, that's a beautiful thing. Because Youngstown, Ohio is not a great place. There's not a lot of prospects, and there's not a lot of success. And for you to have made it out of there, to feel like you need your prostitutes to come from East Palestine because you got to, keep it homegrown. Buddy, you a different kind. You could, Jed York, you could buy that thing from anywhere in the country. You need yours from East Palestine, Ohio, dog? I don't even know where let me read. Let me read something to y'all. Let me see. Hold on. Let me read something to y'all. Okay, this is the story written up in ESPN at 11:56 a.m. Eastern time. So this is about 8:30. San Francisco 49er owner Jed York pled no contest to a pair of misdemeanor charges Monday after being arrested in Ohio on suspicion of engaging in prostitution, which I will get to in a bit. According to Columbia court records, East Palestine police arrested York on Sunday with a charge of description of engaging in prostitution. The charges were amended to misdemeanor disorderly conduct, and York pleaded no contest to that and an additional misdemeanor charges for possessing criminal tools. Okay. So Jed York was buying pussy and getting high. Criminal tools. Criminal tools. let's so okay. Jed York was possessing criminal tools. So either Jed York, and again, I'm guessing. This I don't have any reporting on this. Okay, Jed York, I'm guessing, was trying to buy some pussy and smoke some crack or meth. Google Earth East Palestine, Ohio. Google Earth East Palestine, Ohio. And tell me what you think that part of the country has, and I quote, possessing criminal tools. That ain't like having some dynamite. Like possessing criminal tools. That sounds like a crack pipe. Jed York, I know you ain't in East Palestine smoking crack and buying pussy. You can't. Jed York, you can't be. Let's see how much this is on wall-to-wall ESPN. Let's see. Because if Christian McCaffrey had got caught in East Palestine buying pussy with, and I quote, possessing criminal tools. Buddy, that'd be on every channel. That'd be everywhere. Why? For Christian McCaffrey to get busted like that is one thing, or Brandon Ayuk, or Nick Bosa. Name the 49er. So how come if they get busted like this, it's everywhere? This guy gets busted with it, and it's, what, they're going to talk about for an hour, maybe? The owner should have a higher standard of behavior and public decency. Criminal tools is a wild thing to be possessing. Because they just can't say, he was out here smoking crack, allegedly. Because again, I'm imagining what a criminal tool is. What do y'all think a criminal tool is? To me, if you tell me somebody's possessing criminal tools, okay, because let's eliminate the obvious. Jed York was not breaking and entering anywhere. So it wasn't like he had a crowbar or a Slim Jim, like something, breaking into somebody's car. So let's rule some things out. Jed York was in East Palestine, Ohio, possessing criminal tools. So what kind of, it wasn't a weapons charge, because they would have told you he was caught with a use of an illegal firearm or a unregistered firearm, or without having a register. Like, there are a lot of things that they could give you a better description on. To say he had criminal tools, it's a crack pipe, man. It's a crack pipe, in my opinion, of course. Jed York out here getting pussy in East Palestine and getting high. Your head coach takes his eyes off the road and destroys a young woman's car. Your owner got caught buying pussy in East Palestine, Ohio. Buckshot and everything. The full get up. Your organizational practice facility is next to a power plant, which many people believe is causing a lot of your players to get soft tissue injuries. Brandon Ayuk will not play for you ever again, will not come to the facility, won't let you trade him because he keep talking crazy about every team you try to trade him to. This is Elizabeth Rojas says, I'm sure women throw themselves at him all the time because of his financial status, and he still wants to pay for sex, get caught because he wants to be nasty. Yeah. Yeah. Buddy is in East Palestine, Ohio, paying for it. So you know he about to do something gross. He didn't get no high price. He didn't call Robert Kraft for some high level. Nah, buddy. He got on the highway in his own car, drove to a place where he was familiar with because he's from that area. Solo, by the way. It wasn't like he had the homie with him. It wasn't like he had a security guard with him. My boy was on a solo mission for some paid strange and got arrested. Boy, listen. They would have, if I was Jay York, boy, they would have had me on camera bribing them with season tickets. Buddy, what you hey, you can't, hey, don't arrest me, man. What listen, let me tell you something right now. I get you whatever you want. This can't make the news. Come on, man. I own the 49ers, dog. The nigga be like, you don't own no 49ers, bro. What you doing out here? San Francisco, you a long way from San Francisco. I don't know what's going on, man. I really don't. Whether it's the Browns and their confusing decision making by naming Deshaun Watson the starter. Deshaun Watson hell having a meltdown right in front of everybody about the way he was treated by the Cleveland fans, basically saying, I hate y'all and y'all hate me. Jed York out here paying for some strange. And by the way, let me just be very, very direct about something. In my own public opinion, this is my opinion. I don't expect for people to agree to this. Hold on, let me look up something real quick. I don't expect for people to agree to this at all. I never have. I never will. If you're going to tell me, again, it's my own personal belief. If you're going to tell me that we can have oxycodone, you can go buy beer or cigarettes, but we can't legalize prostitution. I don't have a problem with him buying pussy. I really don't. I don't. I think it's funny. I think it's funny a man that rich ain't got nothing, can't get nothing. You got to pay for it. I hear you. But sometimes rich people will tell you it's better to pay for it because then when you know what the deal is. It was probably cheaper for him. Well, it's probably still cheaper for Jed York to have done what he done, to have taken a prospective woman on a date to dinner to end up, doing some prostitute level nasty with her. I was once told by a person who admitted to purchasing a prostitute. Why he did that to me, I don't know. I lost a little bit of respect for him, but it is what it is. It's easier to pay them because they go away. Literally, it was his words. It was his words. You pay them, you do the deed, and they get out. They leave. You pay them to leave. I thought you pay them for the deed, but you pay them to leave, is what he said. So I don't know what to tell y'all, man. I don't know what to tell y'all. I think prostitution should be legal, but that's my own personal opinion. If prostitution is the oldest profession we have in this country, okay, they've been selling that thing since since the Bible. They've been selling that thing since the Bible, boy. Is it immoral? That's not. That's up to a higher power. That's above our pay grade if it's immoral or not. Who are you to say so? If that's what she want to do, cool. Regulate it, make it safe, tax it. Again, there are parts of the world where prostitution is completely legal. So it's not like some foreign concept or some. There are places in America where prostitution is legal. So Jed York, I agree. I understand. I just don't agree. You could have done better. Now, if you didn't told me Jed York got busted in Hollywood somewhere, all right, cool. If you told me Jed York got busted down in Miami somewhere. All right, cool. But East Palestine, Ohio. I know you had that in your game, big fella. I do now. Unfortunately, we all do now. Shout out to what we got coming up this week. I told you guys I was working on something stand-up wise for a while. I'm working on another thing too, but this is coming up this week. This is Thursday. We're doing something called Comedy for a Cause. Okay? Eric Gilliam is here. We're going to chat about it. Let me bring him on. Let me get him up. Let me fix this. Give me a second. Boom. What's up, brother?
Yo. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm great. I am great, man. It's good to see you. So let's tell everybody who you are and what we're doing.
Yeah, man. My name is Eric Gilman. I'm the sharpest guy you know. And I've teamed up with Cal Home Co. and Baja Builds. We're going to be having an amazing comedy show coming up here on Thursday. And really excited to share more about what we're doing with that, chat with you. And I know we got some exciting special guests on the pipeline for that show. And yeah, it's going to be Thursday at 6. Got a passion for helping people and comedy. This just allows us to do both of them at the same time and invite other people to have a great time with us.
So how did this start? Or a better question is, how did you become a part of something that's so awesome?
Ooh, you mean the Baja Build project?
Yes.
Dude,
I mean,
really?
obviously the comedy show, that goes without saying, but the helping people portion of it.
Right. People ask me, like, how long have you been doing comedy? I'm like, how long have I been being funny? Like my whole life, pretty much. Intentionally into a microphone for about 5 years now. But you'd ask any, I got kicked out of 2 schools as a kid, and I was always just making jokes all the time, being too out of order. So good times. But how I got involved with this specific cause, in short, man, my core belief in life, I have a background in fundraising and I've been with a company for about 20 years. My core belief is that if you have the ability to help somebody, in a lot of ways, you have a responsibility to help somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you can help, you should help. And that's not to say we need to go help everybody in the world. That's going to, kind of drive me nuts. But how did I get involved with this comedy show? Helping a friend, dude. How did I get involved with most of these crazy, life-changing, massive projects that I get involved with? I say yes to helping a friend. And here we go. So basically, I got involved with Henish, who is the head of Cal Home Co., who's my connection with Baja Builds.
Mm-hmm.
Called him up. I said, hey, man, how's it going? I'm doing some comedy shows. I invited him to some shows. I told him about, maybe we should do a show for like a client appreciation event. And we both have a sweet spot for helping people. So he goes, why don't we do a comedy for a cause event? And I said, hey, I already want to do, one of those anyway this year. So boom, boom, pow. You get great people with great opportunity. That's what makes a really cool event. So that's what we got going on. But in short, how do I get involved? Just saying yes to helping people. It's gotten me some pretty crazy places in life.
But when you have these type of experiences and you say yes to friends and you're helping people and people are helping you, you're building within the community, and then you start doing things like this for people. What do people have expectation wise? Because to me, it feels like I'm going to help a friend move or I'm going to take somebody to the airport. Those are 2 very important things. The one I try to stay away from, helping people move. That's kind of like hey, man, my truck's flat. Whatever. I'll make up anything. I'll take you to the airport because you got to get out. It ain't that hard. When it comes to building a house, that's a large responsibility. Where's your tool belt?
I feel you, man. I feel you. It's definitely a little bit more than, hey, can you grab that pizza on your way home? Or,
right.
Take me down to the airport. I think it comes from, personally, my ease with doing it. It comes with just expanding your capacity. So this isn't the first time I've built something internationally for charity with a friend. So I think for me, what year? 10 years ago, over a span of about 10 years, I built a hospital in Haiti after the earthquake.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So me and a group of about 115 other, mostly through my company, Cutco Gifting, a lot of people from that background. went to Haiti after the earthquake. We took 7 trips. We built a hospital from the ground up. So, and we opened it on the 7-year anniversary of the earthquake. And it's crazy, man. When people ask me, dude, how did a white guy from Southern California who prior to this couldn't point to Haiti on a map get involved with building a hospital, being on the board of directors and riding a bike across the country to do that? How'd you come up with this crazy friggin' idea? I said yes to helping a friend.
It's a
So
thing.
it's a trip kind of to think, beginning with the end in mind with this thing with Hennish. And Hennish has been a longtime friend of mine who's putting the show on with me, where this might go. So why this one was such an easy one for me is we were already talking about a comedy show. We were already talking about doing a great cause. And he goes, dude, I've got a cause. Like already, we've already got a thing, which is a lot of the, I did this bike ride across the country and we built the hospital in Haiti, which takes months and years of planning. So for me, when my buddy goes, hey, in 2 months, we're taking a 3-night trip down to Baja. You don't have to book a flight. You don't have to do anything. We're going to go down and build. I say, hot potato, dude, one house, one building, bro. We'll have that up in half the time. We're going to be at the beach the rest of the day. So it's just cool. I think, John, the thing that is important for people to hear on top of saying yes is just embrace the process and be ready to fail forward and expand your capacity. And that's what allows you to do bigger and cooler things. And as I continue to do that in life, and the more people are like, dude, how did you end up doing X, Y, Z? It's like, because I did something smaller. I did, how do you do X, Y, Z? You start by doing A, B, and C.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to look and be like, dude, how'd you end up here? It's like, because you didn't look at where I started, man.
Where does that come from? Where is that in your background? Did your parents instill that in you? Have you just traveled enough, and through your travels, you've seen that how helping people made you feel, so you continue to help people? Where did that come from? How did Eric become such a giver?
Yeah, man. Thank you for acknowledging that. And that's kind of like I said, my core, what we think is what we're all put here to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not here to build literally like our own giant empires. We're not here to do whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter, pick your poison, but we're here to help people around a small community, right? So that's like purpose of life. And then as I have a background in, like, I wrote a book, right? So it's called The Power to Change. And the reason I wrote this isn't to become a best-selling author and make a lot of money. It's to help other kids who look like that, right? So if you're just listening, I used to be like a super fat kid. I am still a fat kid in my heart. Fat kid decisions like you wouldn't believe, dude. Fat kid is a mindset, not a physical being.
Right.
And one day I'll break that mindset if I choose to, but that's the problem. I never choose to. I like cake. Anyway, so I guess the core thing, man, is I just grew up like my folks always taught me, like, if you can't help somebody, you should help somebody. So I definitely have to credit them to that. My dad noticed early on that I was always kind of a giving person in my nature. So I think, like anything, man, it's a muscle. Like, dude, you start doing all the, like, now I'm 38 almost. Like, I do things and I keep it in perspective. I'm very grateful. And I have traveled to a pretty good amount of countries around the world to give you a lot of perspective. But I'm able to do these bigger things because I started doing, like I started doing the first, run for a cause I did. I remember I was in like second or third grade, like a walk for
Oh, wow.
or something, just like the little things. I wasn't like a race, but I've done marathons for charity and stuff like that. But it just starts with doing something small. That's why I always encourage people to just like fail forward and like embrace the process, dude.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to Haiti the first time, dog, I didn't know a drill from a hammer. Like, I even had a time where I pulled my buddy aside on the first trip, because I have a friend who's from Haiti. That's how I got started. After the earthquake, his whole family life, a very devastating earthquake in 2012. But he goes, dude, we're going to build this hospital down in Haiti. And just because I said, all right, dude, I'll go. Let's go. Right. But on the trip there, I remember specifically telling him, I was like, I'm not very good with building things. Like, I'm from New York City. Like, I've never built anything. I've never even had a tree house. Like, I never built anything in my life.
Right.
And fast forward, I mean, this is after the first trip. We're talking 1 week later. I mean, I'm on the handsaw, sawing off, shearing off, all the things. On the fourth trip there, I was heading up the entire paint team, and I was head of one of the construction projects. So it's like, dude, of course, like, no one doesn't know how to do shit until you do it, right?
Right.
Who are remembered for doing stuff is the ones who failed more times than anybody's even considered attempting, dude, right? The Kobe Bryants and Michael Jordan. Kobe was the best he's not anything exceptional. He's exceptional because he would go sink 300 free throws at the end of the day after everybody did their practice, right, guys? And that's what I took when I was like a fat kid, and it's like I wanted to play sports. So I was like, all right, I'll do my practice, and then I'll do a little bit extra after the practice. So yeah, that's kind of I kind of drifted off there. I think a bit.
No, you're good. Comedians tend to do that. So one of the more interesting things that you did say that makes perfect sense is how a person gets into comedy is you don't know how to do it until you do it. Because people ask me, how did you start it? Like, how do you tell a joke? Like, you don't, you just do. And I think that's the part about whether it be giving back or whether it be about trying to, find your way on stage as a comic. They have a lot of similarities. The only way to do it is to do it. You can't have somebody teach you how to do it without being hands-on, without being on the stage, holding that microphone, feeling the energy, feeling the heat of the light. You can't do it until you go to the site and you start here, and then at the end you're in charge of a bunch of people because you have a passion to do it. When you started doing comedy, do you remember the first joke you told?
That's a great question. So I think one of the things we should do in life is like, if you can find the thing that you love to do most and that you're naturally good at, if you can find a way in life to get paid for that, that's like the key to life. And not everybody gets to that point, right? I do remember the first joke I ever told, because actually the first joke I ever told officially, I told a joke on HBO with Rosie O'Donnell when I was in 3rd grade.
Nice.
Yes, I was actually featured on I was on a HBO special. It was called Kids Are Punny. It was with Rosie O'Donnell, Gilbert Gottfried, and essentially HBO talent scouts came to my school. They sat in different classes. They found me and a handful of other kids, and they pulled us aside, put us in a little studio for the day, and just had us tell jokes. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, so I could say my first credit was HBO with Rosie O'Donnell, although that doesn't really, you don't really like to, like when you go to an open mic, like, all right, your next open mic comic, you might have seen him on HBO. Like, right. Not really,
everybody sits up like, oh.
Yeah, 27 years ago. I'll tell you the joke. The joke was, what happened when the Pink Panther stepped on an ant?
What?
Dead ant. Famous, dude. And it's a dumb joke, but I remember that. And then what's funny though is like now people, sure as a comic you get, dude, tell me a joke. What happened when the Pink Panther stepped on an ant? So that's always, I call my pocket joke, dude. I've told that joke 17 million times now, and people, it's a dumb joke. I'm like, well, it got me on HBO one day, so it worked out.
Hey. It was you asked me a dumb question, so I told you a dumb joke. Like
that's it, dude. Yeah, that's always one that anyway, we don't have to talk about that. Tell me a joke. I don't come to your work, ask you to go do your job. So and then it just led from there, dude. I mean, I got every school, and I mean this in a good way. I mean, my folks were always supportive of me getting some type of education, which meant they did not support me getting kicked out of every single school after school program. Everything, not for anything horrible, but always the same constant theme. Eric won't stop interrupting. Eric is disruptive to the class. He's always making jokes. He can't take anything seriously. So all the themes, I mean, it's on every report card all the way up until they kick me out of the school.
Right.
and then I think to talk about like what you're saying of like people get nervous with anything you're doing for the first time. Before I really started actively or consciously doing stand-up comedy, I was pursuing a path as a professional speaker and more of a motivational speaker for about 10 years. And then the other thing with it, I was doing these speeches. I still do. I still have a passion. I still have messages about mindset and motivation and all these different things. But the thing that was becoming clear after doing this for about 8 to 10 years, over and over and over again, dude, people would just go, dude, your message was awesome. I loved it. My favorite part was all the jokes. I mean, we're talking time after time. My favorite part was when you're funny. And it's like, dude, I'm not saying I'm not being the most authentic version of myself when I'm doing this. I am. This is who I am. It's what I've done. But the most authentic version of me is me up there being me and funny. And what I found I've actually found the less that I physically, I write my joke. Everyone has a joke book, right? But the less that I physically write about how the joke should go, the better it generally goes. Just meaning like, just write the thing that's funny and then just be funny about it. And I know that's vague, but yeah. So anyway,
Everybody's process is different. I write one line. I never, I have a process of where I write the entirety of the joke from beginning to end. And then after that, I write one line. And
yep.
then the rest of it, I just kind of wrap it around and put it together as I go each time I tell the joke. So it totally depends on the room, how the joke varies. And that's kind of the process everybody's process is different. So it's interesting to hear how
I
another
heard a
person.
big quote early on in comedy that I really try and go by is that comedy is a monologue, or comedy is a dialogue disguised as a monologue.
Nice.
Yeah. I learned that. I started, I know this sounds, but it's like I started doing comedy and then I started on Zoom comedy. That's how I got my start. And I'll always remember it like it's a timestamp. It's just, dude, I wrote in my journal, I still have it written in my 2019 goal, like end of 2019, beginning of 2020, I have it written down 2020 live comedy performance.
Nice.
What a year it was to start doing live performance. And so I started on Zoom and it was, the shows were crap. But I will say, as a new comic, I was doing like 10, 15-minute sets 3 to 4 nights a week. So it was like crappy amount.
Practice, though.
A ton of time. Yeah. And then eventually once things opened up, it was great. But yeah, I learned that in the Zoom days, that comedy is a dialogue disguised as a monologue. And I think it's if you watch enough comedy, you see it's a give and take, right? And the laugh is a response, or depending on how much you're talking, can be a response too.
So let's talk about the event. Let's pull it up here. Let's talk about the event. See if I can get it on the screen at the same time.
Have you announced our special guest yet, by the way?
I have not. Please do.
Okay, cool. You want me to do it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I am pumped. We got this event coming on Thursday. We got a full lineup. We've got sponsors. There was food, drink. We got live music before the show. It's open to the public. This is a fundraiser show. So 2 things. 1, 100% of all of the ticket sales, raffle prizes, everything is 100% going to the charity. It's one of the things I'm really proud to do because I have a business as well as the person who's putting this on. That's Hennish and Cal Home Co. So that's where it's going to be hosted. They're brokered by Realty of America. So it's a big real estate company. But we work really hard so we can find sponsors, and all of the money is going directly to this awesome cause. And the second thing will come back to me in a second. But yeah, we've got an amazing lineup. And speaking of which, we got music by Miles starting at 6 and some local favorites. But I'm really proud and excited to announce our special guest spot for John Browner is going to be coming on the show, kicking some ass, taking some names, making people laugh.
That's right, fella. As always, y'all listen. Come to the show. Come see this show. The tickets, I will put it in the link. Every penny of this show, every single penny of this show goes to help someone who needs help. And the number one thing that Eric has said since he got here is he began to do great things just by helping a friend. And so treat this as this process. This is your first step in helping a friend. You may not know that friend yet, but this is an opportunity for all of us to continue to give back and continue to do something good. But at least you get something for it. You get some laughs. You get to sit around some people. You get to make some new friends, and you get to hear some new jokes. Who knows? Who knows? You might find your favorite comedian there.
Yep. And we got, like I said, full lineup, and it's just going to be a fun night, and you're going to come out anyway, have an awesome time. Might as well do it to raise money for a great cause. And that's one of the things I love about combining what I get to love to do and kind of taking that, find what you love and then get paid off of it, taking that to the next level of find what you love, get paid off of it, and then find a way to get that money back into doing something good for people around you in the community. And so I've just really been excited to partner with Cal Home Co. And that's why I've launched, Cutting Edge Comedy. And we just do all of these shows across the board. And yeah, we'll be down there building the house in Mexico. And I really think it's going to be pretty easy. I know that sounds pretty bold.
That sounds like a wild thing to say.
Dude, there's times, man. I mean, again, expanding your capacity, right? Like I'm sometimes I get this limiting belief. I'm like, oh, I don't know how to do that, or I'm not that handy. And then between nowadays with like YouTube, there's times where I just have to stop myself and I'm like trying to figure out how to take apart something really basic in my house. And I'm like, I can't do this. And I'm like, dude, I built a building. Like I built the building from the scratch, from the bottom up. So it's just finding what you can do and kind of going bigger with that. But yeah, you guys don't even have to go to Mexico. You don't have to do anything. You just come on down.
Just come
Enjoy
to the
the
show.
Yeah.
I haven't been to the mechanic in 7 years. I just Google everything. I
Yep.
went to college. I got tools. I Googled everything. Eric, thank you for your time. I can't wait to see you on Thursday. Tickets are on sale. It's open to the public every day. The link will be in this comment section. So you guys will have an opportunity up to the day of to come in and celebrate and help for a good cause and have some comedy for a good cause. Eric Gilman, thank you for joining us, the sharpest guy you know. And tell them how to find the book.
Yeah. So, dude, John, thank you so much for having me, dude. We're so excited. Thursday, except tell your friends, tell your neighbors. It's open to the public. Tell your neighbors, friends, family. Bring it down. It's going to be a PG-13 show, so it's not completely family friendly. I had a lady come to our show one time, bringing in a 17-year-old, and I was like, "You sure they're good?" She goes, "They got TikTok. They've heard it all." So nothing to offend anybody. We've got to get an awesome lineup of comedians. You can click the link on the QR code. I'm sure you'll put it all out there. All that money's going to charity too. My book, if you search Eric Gilman on Amazon, if you just search my name, Gilman with 2 L's, that will come right up. If you come to the show, I'll have some extra ones available out there. If you really ever just need one and you want me to give one and sign one to somebody. Oh, that's what I was going to say earlier. Yeah, I'm one of the best knife salesmen in comics in the world, but I'm one of the worst book salespeople in the world. People, because I want people to read it and get some good impact from it. So you can get it off Amazon, or you can contact me directly. I am the sharpest guy you know across all things social media, Instagram, Facebook, all those different things. So follow along for other future shows. Also, if this is something you're like, oh man, that sounds like a cool event. I actually have a cause locally that I want to help support. We're open to helping all people out here. So whether you can make it to the event or not, get in touch. I'm never going to stop doing comedy. I'm never going to stop helping people. So that's what Cutting Edge Comedy is all about. But yeah, come check us out on Thursday. And dude, thank you so much for having me, man. You got a phenomenal energy, and I'm really, really pumped to have you on the show.
Let's rock and roll, man. Eric Gilman, people. Thanks, Eric.
You're welcome, buddy. Later.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Show's gonna be fun. Show's gonna be fun. So I'm gonna put the show in the bio. You guys can click it, link it. Let's help build some houses in Mexico, man. Y'all know I love helping people. I love helping all people, regardless of what you've seen on the internet. Okay? I'm a people pleaser. Not a people pleaser, but I'm a helper. What else? Let me see what else we got on the show today. Again, if you're new to the show, you listen to the John Browner Podcast. The John Browner Podcast, we come Monday through Friday. We go Monday through Friday, 10 to 11. So come in, subscribe, like, share the show. Let's see, where do we go from here? Oh, just did Comedy for a Cause. So let's talk about the Padres this weekend. All right, because we're at that point in the show where we need to do that. So let's talk about the Padres. Can I say something that I've never said about the San Diego Padres? Especially this season. What an utter domination San Diego Padres had over the Minnesota Twins. That was by far the most dominant performance the Padres have had all year against an opponent. And it wasn't that they put up 20 runs. It wasn't they had 15 runs. They got behind, they scored. They got in front, they kept scoring. The level of domination, the way that the Padres played this weekend versus the Twins, that's what makes you believe they can really do something. This is what makes you look at this roster now. This is what makes you look around at this roster, and now you start going, okay, this is what I thought it could be. What you saw this weekend from the Padres roster is why people are excited. 7 out of their last 10. Their run differential is now up to 16. They're 40-26 at home. Yesterday's game was unbelievable. I came on this show last week and I told y'all, Fernando Tatis Jr. should begin to get MVP conversation. And there was some laughter at your boy. Are you laughing now? Now, statistically, he won't win the award because, he does not have the home runs that Ohtani does, and he doesn't have the home runs that Pete Crow Armstrong does. But if the Padres find themselves even in arm's distance of the Cubs when it comes to the wild card, which now they're only 4 games back of the Cubs in the wild card. The Cubs lost 4 of their last 6. 4 of their last 10, I'm sorry. If the Padres catch up to the Cubs, also the Phillies have won 9 in a row, so what? If the Padres catch the Cubs, there's no reason why you cannot have Tatis in the conversation at all. Period. End of story. There's literally no way you cannot have this conversation about Fernando Tatis Jr. if the Padres catch the Cubs. That was utter domination. It was utter domination. And if you look across the landscape for people who are in consideration for MVP, one of the things about MVP is when you get hot. If Fernando Tatis Jr. gets hot right now and the Padres push, they end the season with the lead for the wild card, and you continue to have the Dodgers sputter out. Again, still win the division, but sputter out. Ohtani doesn't pitch, and the Dodgers just continue to just kind of cross the finish line. And the Padres catch the Cubs, and doing so, Fernando Tatis Jr. is robbing grand slams while hitting home runs to win the game. Fernando Tatis is hitting home runs here, hitting home runs. It's going to all begin to accumulate. And when baseball people start looking around and going, all right, here we go. Let's look around and let's really start looking at who we're going to vote for. You cannot tell me that he's not in the conversation. If you're going to tell me it's only the home runs that have kept him out, Ohtani has not stolen any run. Now, the pitching, he hasn't pitched in a while. But to me, again, if you're going to consider the MVP vote, it has to be Ohtani if you're going to allow his pitching to affect the outcome of the award. Because Shohei Ohtani's pitching makes him the MVP, period. So now you got to skew the award. Michael Jordan didn't win the MVP every year. So if you're going to tell me LeBron didn't win the MVP every year, Ophony can't win it every year. Pete Crow Armstrong had a month. He had a month. Now the air is starting to come out that balloon. If Pete Crow Armstrong is doing this, and Tatis is starting to do this, and the Padres are starting to do this, and the Cubs are starting to do this, and the Dodgers are doing this because this is all they have to do just to get to the finish line. Why not? Why can't we talk about Fernando Tatis being a part of this conversation? Because he's top 5 baseball right now. Guys playing, actively playing in the field, on the bases, all around 5-tool baseball. He is top 5 right now. The Padres have been one of the best teams post All-Star break, and he has led the way. Why can't you talk about him? They demolished the Twins. They dominated the Twins. This was the first series all season where I was like, damn, they are that much better than the Twins. And the Twins are not the Colorado Rockies. They're not. And as we sit here and we look at what's to come, I told you, they don't have to sweep every series. Just find a way to win competitive series and then beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. The Twins are in the category that the Padres are supposed to beat them. But beat them in the way that they did, that's impressive. To literally dominate that series from the beginning to the end was impressive. 2, and the other thing, I've said this before, and here it comes again. If the Padres have the lead after the 7th inning, the game is over. If I am in that clubhouse, if I am in that dugout, if I'm in that organization, if I'm the new owner, my goal is to build the rest of this team going forward, is to get it to the 8th inning where we have the lead. Now we got some disagreements. Biggie says, nah, bro, his slow start eliminated him from winning the MVP, but he will be in the top 5, and I'm sure he doesn't care about MVP, but he wants a championship, and I think they have the squad to do it. But if that's the case, then Pete Crow Armstrong's eliminated too. Because again, the Cubs at one point lost 12 of 16 games, or 15 of 16 games, or something like that. Pete Crow Armstrong's numbers, his power numbers have been good all year. His batting average was in the dump. That's all. So if we're eliminating Fernando Tatis Jr. because of the way that the Padres started the season and how off out of rhythm he looked to start the season from a power standpoint, again, he was still getting on base. At one point to start the season, he was hitting the ball. I'm not that big of a nerd, but he was hitting the ball harder than anyone else in baseball at that point. It just wasn't in the air and over the fence. Now these balls are flying out of the ballpark. So I don't discount. I'm not Biggie. I cannot discount what he's done now and say, oh man, he can't win because he started the season slow. So did Pete Crow Armstrong. And listen, with everything happening, with everything that has gone on in the long, drawn out season of baseball, where the Padres were in the gutter at one point, they were behind the Diamondbacks. And at one point in the season, they were behind the Giants. Now, that was early, but that's my whole point. At one point in this season, they were behind the Giants. And now the Padres look to be one of the teams that are ready to compete for a World Series. That turnaround needs to absolutely be talked about. That turnaround needs to absolutely be respected. And to respect that turnaround, we have got to talk about Fernando Tatis Jr. as the MVP of Major League Baseball. This ain't a hot take. This is not a hot take. A hot take is me saying that I thought Jed York, we supposed to free Palestine, not get it charged with prostitution. That's a hot take. Okay? A hot take is if I see Enes Kanter, I swear I'm going to swing on him. That's a hot take. The Padres dominating the Twins and Fernando Tatis Jr. looking like the best player in baseball this weekend, that's not a hot take. Look at the numbers, nerds. The Padres being one of the hottest teams in baseball. Look at the numbers, nerds. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Let's be real. Let's be real. So it's a great weekend of baseball, man. It's a great week of baseball downtown in Gaslight, man. Petco was a little emptier than I thought it would be, but it was hot as hell yesterday. So reprieve. There was a lot of tickets sold, but not a lot of tickets punched yesterday. It was hot as hell. I wouldn't go sit in the sun either at Petco yesterday. Nah, buddy, I'm on the beach, boy. My phone is ringing out of control right now. What is this? So, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Shout out to the Padres. Just blew them boys out the water. No questions asked. If you're just getting to the show, I will briefly talk about what I started the show with. It was Deshaun Watson being named starter of the Cleveland Browns and why he hates that decision. Deshaun Watson is probably the only quarterback to ever be named starter and went, damn. Damn. I thought y'all was going to get rid of me. WVC Smirk says, Tatis was a below average player in the first few months of the season. He was struggling with power. I think at that time he was batting 260, 270. He was still getting on base. He was still stealing base, and he was still a Golden Glove right field, Platinum Glove, I guess what they call it now, Platinum Glove right fielder, while also playing exceptionally at second base. While Jake Cronenworth was out with the most mysterious concussion I've ever seen anybody get in the history of, shucking brains. But the idea that Deshaun Watson is the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns didn't only shock him, it shocked the fan base. It didn't only shock him, it shocked us. Deshaun Watson went to the podium and showed you what the intersection of the fans hate me and I hate the fans, what that looks like in a press conference. Deshaun Watson went to the press conference and said, man, listen, in short, fuck these people. Those are what they call straight talk. Deshaun Watson basically went to the podium and said, man, fuck these people. They cheered when I tore my ACL on the field. I don't care what they think. Deshaun Watson emptied the clip on the Browns fan base, the ones in the building and the ones on the internet. Because he said when in person to person, he don't get no smoke from y'all. Let me say that again. Deshaun Watson told y'all, person to person, man to man in these streets, I don't hear none of this smoke. But when I got this helmet on and I'm on the field, or I'm like at these pads, I'm on the sideline, y'all talk hella crazy. When I go online, you thumb thugs talk hella crazy. But when y'all see me pick my kids up from school, none of that smoke. Y'all see me in the mall, none of that smoke. You see me out with my wife, none of that smoke. He got neighbors. And, he go to his kids' games. Deshaun Watson, that's all, man. And before I get out of here, let me put up the one last thing. Where is it? One more thing. I'm gonna talk about Jed York some more, but let me because Biggie brought something up. Biggie said, "Yeah, F. Cantor, aka can't play. I'm telling you, dude is paid by MAGA as a political distraction because of the upcoming midterms. Please don't fall for the okie doke, people." Let me also address that too, because I saw Enes Cantor get into it with Natasha Cloud, Natasha Cloud. Let me back up. Natasha Cloud is a player in the WNBA for the Chicago Sky. She was recently asked at a press conference about a man throwing a dildo on the court, in which she replied, "That's probably the gayest shit ever, that you, a man, bought a dildo, went to a woman's basketball game, and then threw the dildo on the court." I agree with her. I agree with Natasha Cloud. That's pretty gay, bro. But for Enes Cantor to show up and and by the way, the Indiana Fever just destroyed them. So I would have gotten to a fight with Enes Cantor too if I was Natasha Cloud, because we getting our ass kicked on the court. Look, man, I don't know how much of this you guys are aware of what's happening with Enes Cantor. I've talked about it on the show with him and Royce White. Royce White has seemed to calm down because he probably has gotten enough flack, or somebody with common sense talked to Royce White and said, bro, this is not a good look. For Enes Cantor to get in a back and forth shouting match with Natasha Cloud over his stance of, he wants to play in the WNBA, is some of the most whole shit I have ever seen in professional sports in my life. Enes Cantor had to have security walk him to his car outside of the stadium because there were actual men outside going, bro, I'll whoop your ass. Get that shit out of Chicago. And again, Chicago's not some super liberal. Don't be fooled. Chicago is a blue city wrapped in a red state. But because there are far more people in Chicago than there are in the rest of Illinois, it gets dubbed a blue state. It is a it's a royal blue city. And everywhere else outside of it is red. And for Enes Kanter to think that he was going to walk in there, have this show of performance, and then just walk out, and ain't nobody going to say nothing to you, buddy, that ain't the place. That ain't the place. I'm surprised they ain't fired a couple shots at Enes Kanter. He lucky the Sky don't play on the South Side, buddy. You wouldn't have made it to the airport. Chicago's not very liberal. Chicago's not very, trans-friendly. People in Chicago respect other people's privacy. So if that's what you do, you go do that. Just don't bring it over here. That's how Chicago operates. If that's what you're doing, you do that over there. Don't bring it over here. But when you come to the city with that kind of goofy shit, buddy, I'm surprised somebody didn't tee off on you. You lucky they play at Wintrust and they don't play at the United Center. Because, buddy, you'd need more than security on deck, bro. Because you on some whole business, Enes Kanter. You really are. This is what you want to do with the rest of your life. And it's wild because Enes Kanter changed his name to Enes Freedom because his family was being persecuted in their home country. And I find it wild that a person who was fighting persecution in his home country is now persecuting people in this country. And the people he's persecuting is such a tiny minority, a tiny, tiny, tiny minority that they will have no real impact on anything that happens anywhere. Not in sport, not in politics, not in economics. It's just not going to exist. It's not going to exist. So for people in Enes Kanter to be doing this, it just doesn't make any sense. It don't make any sense at all. It really don't. And before I get out of here, man, before I get out of here, I'm going to try to get Lawhead on the show this week to talk about the Cleveland Browns because only he can be as disgusted as anybody else about the Cleveland Browns. And I'm reaching out to Eric Williams to try to get Eric back on the show as well. But Eric is a professional journalist, and I'm kind of wild for Eric. I don't want Eric to get in any trouble. Eric's my guy, man. But I'm going to try to get Eric on the show. I'm going to reach out to him. But yeah, and before I go, last one, to retouch on this Jared York situation. Hey, Jared York, buddy. I respect that you're paying for it, big dog. There's a couple of ways I'm okay. I'm okay with seeing you show up on ESPN being arrested if you buying prostitutes. I'm okay with that, man. I'm not finna lie to y'all. I'm not mad at Jared York for buying pussy. I'm not. I'm really not. I don't care. I'm not mad at Jared York. Jared York did not appear on my ticker at the bottom of the screen. Breaking news. 49ers arrested. I'm not going to be upset when they say 49er majority owner arrested. Jared York arrested. He didn't beat anybody. He didn't get a DUI. He didn't buy the team with, fraudulent money. Looking at the Dodgers owner. Jared York went out there and did some, pay for some strange, bro. He didn't want to buy dinner. He didn't want to take on some expensive trip. Jared York was in his hometown. Thought he'd drive over a county over. Get some strange, bro. Let me pay for it. Let me get high and let me pay for it. I ain't trying to. Jared York went out there trying to take it. Jared York didn't make the news for assault. They ain't say Jed York ain't raped nobody. Jed York ain't done no physical harm to nobody. Jed York just trying to get high, get some pussy, man. Who among us haven't? Not paid for it. Not that's what I'm saying. Who among us? We go to nightclubs. We go to bars to get some pussy. Sorry. I know it sounds harsh. This is an aggressive way to have this conversation. But let's do it in reality. See, hey, David P., this is why it's difficult for Eric to come on this show. Because we talk about paying for pussy on this show now. I'm not upset with Jed York. It is a bad look for the organization, though. It's a bad look for the 49ers. It's a bad look for the NFL that another one of their super rich owners has gotten himself caught up in some type of sex situation. Whether it be Robert Kraft. Robert Kraft was caught in a human traffic sting. What Jed York did and what the Patriots owner did are not on the same playing field. Okay? Robert Kraft got caught up in a human trafficking scheme. He went back. He had so much fun the first day. He went back the second day. You hear what I'm saying to you? What Jed York did, hey, I'm just going to try to get some pussy. How much? And again, I will say this again. What this is going to cost Jed York is probably cheaper than a woman he's dating, taking her to an expensive restaurant. Because if you a billionaire, if the women, listen, bro, let me. Can we talk? Can we talk real, y'all? Can we talk real in this space? That's a rhetorical question. But can we talk real in this space? Jed York is a billionaire. If Jed York was with a woman his age, she's going to Google him. Jed York ain't taking a woman who's Googling him to McDonald's. He ain't finna run her through for a Whopper with cheese, bro. She trying to go to Mastro's, bro. She trying to go to Ruth's Chris, bro. And when you a billionaire, these females, they don't hold back on the menu. When you a billionaire, they know you got it. So when you take them to dinner, bro, they going hard on the menu. You know how I know this? Because I ain't got a lot of money. And when I was out single going on dates, they was going hard on the menu on me. Okay? You ever take a woman out to dinner and she orders something, she know damn well she wouldn't order if she was paying. Okay? So imagine I'm a billionaire because you know that because you can look that up. Yeah, Tito. Listen, bro. Tito, Jed York couldn't have taken a woman to Red Lobster. You, Jed York, you probably own a couple Red Lobsters. You ain't eating in there. There ain't no way a woman of Jed York's age, there's no respectable woman. Jed York ain't about to take them to some, drive-through, fam. So whatever this costs Jed York, including the public humiliation, if you're humiliated by that kind of a thing, or the price it costs him to get out of jail, $150. The bill for the night on a date with a woman that you would consider respectable, more expensive. So listen, prostitution is the oldest profession we got going in human history. Prostitution is the oldest trade in the world. It's just illegal in most parts of the United States. So, Jed, the only problem I got with you, let me see. Let me go pull this story back up. Because the only real issue I got with you, Jed York, is this idea that you had criminal tools. My only issue with Jed York's arrest is he had criminal tools. The economy is hard for everybody, including Jed York. Jed York went and got some Walmart pussy. Okay? Jed York didn't go to Target. He didn't go to Albertsons. Okay? He didn't go. What's that place? What's that place in he didn't go to Trader Joe's. Jed York went to the Walmart superstore looking for some pussy. Cause it's hard out here, y'all. Money's tight. Even if you got $1 billion, money's tight. So yeah, he could have went to some high class place. He could have flown something in. But then again, expensive. Jed York could have got on Grindr or whatever site they be using. I don't know. What's the one where you swipe right? I think Grindr's the gay one, and I don't think he owned that one. But my point being, if you go as Jed York on the date, buddy, we talking about $1,000 tops. Cause she finna get the Louis the 13th on you. She finna get the most expensive steak. And you just gotta, pretend to want to eat dinner when you just want some pussy. I'm not on Jed York's side. Don't get me wrong. Because again, Jed York was out here in the streets with criminal tools. I do not have a wife. Latrey 3. You did not hear me say that, sir. But I also, wife or no wife, which I don't have, I would never pay for it. Jed York's a billionaire, he busy. And Jed York is from Youngstown, Ohio. And East Palestine is just a couple miles away. Jed York knew where to go. Jed York tried to be discreet. Jed York ain't flying nothing out, bro. I'm finna go pick it up. Jed York tried to go Uber eat some pussy. No, man. No. Not like this, Jed York. Not like, could y'all hear that? Because I can't hear that. What's going on here? Hold on. Yeah, I can't hear that. All right. The music ain't working today. The background music ain't working, man. Cocaine is a hell of a drug, man. Shout out, Biggie. I don't know, bro. This Jed York story broke today. And that shit was funny to me. That shit was funny to me, bro. Oh, y'all can hear it? All right, hold on. Let me keep playing it because I can't hear it. Maybe are these things still on? Oh, hold on. Let me see. Hold on. I think these are still on. Let me see. Nope. No. It ain't working on here. But that's my point being this. Okay, they can hear it. I just want y'all to know the show's coming to an end. I try to give y'all a warning when the show's coming to an end, so I'm trying to keep things uniform around here so y'all could know what's going on. What is Jed York doing with criminal tools, y'all? Yes, JD. Yes. Very safe. Very safe. So yeah, man, listen. All jokes aside, I'm going to tell some jokes this Thursday. See what I did there? Comedy for a Cause, man. Every penny that is earned from Comedy for a Cause this Thursday, starting at from 6 to 9 p.m., it will go to a build a home for a needy family in Mexico. So this is a great opportunity for you guys to give back. It's a great opportunity for me to continue to give back to the community. I'm glad I can do it. I'm glad I can be a part of it. You can bring your kids to the show. They say it's clean. I will speak for myself. I don't know yet. I'm still finalizing material. I got a nice little dry run tomorrow here locally. So yeah, come check out the show. Get you some tickets. I'm gonna put the link in the bio. No, man, ain't nobody took nobody out to the shed, dog. They just can't. You know, no, I'm not gonna get into that. JD, you got your answer. Biggie, you already know what the deal is. We talked about this on the show. I'll see y'all tomorrow for y'all get me and somebody else in trouble. Get y'all tickets to the show, Comedy for a Cause. See y'all Thursday, man. Let me put this up. Hold on. Comedy for a Cause. I see y'all on Thursday. Much love. No, I see y'all in person on Thursday. I see y'all back here tomorrow. Peace.
Subscribe to the John Browner podcast on YouTube and download the podcast on iTunes. I know I don't look like him. Just go subscribe.